Hello. Today I'm going to be doing the mung bean experiment and showing you the setup. So far what I've got for my setup is I've got my 3 petri dishes and each of them is labeled with what will be in it. This is water. I've labeled the top and the bottom with a W at least. And I've got the same thing for my zinc oxide and my unknown. And then I've also got them on a piece of paper that's labeled as well. Because one of the things I find about experiments is the key to doing a good experiment, one of them is that you have to be very well organized or things get confusing, especially since this is a 2+ week experiment. All right, actually I think that's going to be better. So I've got my procedure, I've got my beakers here, I've got a Sharpie that I use to label it, and I'm in my kitchen. So it says, obtain 3 petri dishes, label them, place 5 mung beans in each petri dish. I'm going to take off the tops, and this is the first time that things can get mixed up. And I'm going to pour in 5 mung beans, just 5. Well, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I still have more than 5 here, so let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now put my extra ones back in the container, and that goes there. Good. All right, and so I've got my 5 mung beans in each of my petri dishes, and I'm just going to move them around so they're not close to each other, sort of as dispersed as possible. Not too near the edges, although if they are, it's fine, and they'll probably move around. But we'll start them off in a good spot.
Get over there.
No, maybe not. All right, the other ones look fine. Good, I've got my place 5 mungies. I'm going to have 500 milliliters in each of these eventually, but for now, I'm going to put a little bit of water in this. About 50 milliliters, not too much because I don't want to max out my scale, and I'm just using tap water. Looks like I got about 50, and I'm going to weigh this using my scale. Good, it says 0. I'm going to write down how much this is. So 102.35 grams, and then I'm going to take one of my unused plastic pipettes. I'm going to take my zinc oxide, open up the top, and I want to get at least 1 drop. Squeeze in there, don't squeeze the air in there. All right, there we go. And that's 3 100ths, so I am going to do a second drop. That one was a little bigger. And then don't squeeze it back in. This pipette you can essentially throw out just in case I need it again. I've got a paper towel here. I'm just going to leave it there next to my zinc oxide. Good thing I remembered that because my scale just fell asleep. 102.43 grams, that's the zinc oxide. So I ended up with 0.08 grams, which is about as small as I can get. All right, now I'm going to fill this up to 500 milliliters. And 500 milliliters is going to be, well, I'm actually going to do 450 because 500 would be very full. And I would risk spilling it. And I don't want to spill it. Put away my mung beans. Now I just have a plastic knife here. And I'm going to stir it. And it says to stir it for 2 minutes, I believe. 2 minutes directly before filling. And I'm going to stir it like this for 2 minutes every time I fill up my zinc oxide. And you just want to make sure everything's properly mixed and you don't know. See, I filled it up to right here because 500 would be a little high. Hopefully 450 milliliters will be fine. I think it will be for this experiment. It looks very dispersed, so I'm going to go with it, even though it's only been about a minute. I'm going to put that right next to my other zinc oxide stuff. And now I'm going to fill the petri dish. About 2/3 of the way full. It looks like my beans moved out to the edge, but that's okay. They're wet. And now I'm going to leave them. And I'm going to take this solution in a couple minutes. I'm going to put some plastic wrap over it. Now, and again, so I had 450 milliliters. And my beaker, I know, is not the best thing to measure it in, but I'm only going to have 1 sig fig from my grams, my 0.08 grams of zinc oxide solution. So, and my beaker we've shown has 1 sig fig at least. So 450, actually we'll have 2 sig figs because it has markings to that. All right, now to do my unknown, and then I'll do my water. Got another one right here. I'm going to put a little bit of water in this. Weigh it. .08 grams. Now I'm going to get this solution a couple drops. Pop the top, squeeze it out. Enough for probably 2 drops. And watch it as it goes. Ooh, this matters. Now it's at 124.07. So single cross out, replace it with a 7. Again, we're only going to have 1 sig fig here, so. Wow, 1 drop. That drop was 0.06. I'm still going to do a second drop. I'm going to keep that over there. 124.17 grams. 1.08, 1.10, so that does have 2 sig figs. Now, that's good, that's staying very stable. Give it a little swirl and then fill it up to 450, just to make the same solution again. Now I have a plastic spoon here, and I'm going to stir this. Yeah, it says 2 minutes, but I think 1 minute's going to be fine for this one as well. It looks like it's very well stirred even now, but I'll keep stirring it. And I'll note that I have 450 milliliters. And that this is my unknown. Looks very well dispersed. I'm going to keep this together with my other unknown stuff. I'm going to fill this up 2/3 of the way. Actually, up to that little line on the plastic petri dishes. I'm now going to label this unknown and this one zinc oxide to keep those solutions separate as well. And now all I need is another beaker to put my water in. And the water you can get a smaller amount because you can always get more water. I'm going to fill this up to that little line on the side, which is about 2/3 full. Cover these up. Oh, that one's a little too full, almost. And I'm going to set these. I chose my kitchen because I can leave my kitchen light on all night. And I'm going to leave these in the kitchen over here in this corner here, so it's sort of out of each other's way. I'm going to put a little note on it too that says, do not touch, do not drink, science. And I'm going to leave them there, and hopefully we'll have some growth tomorrow. And another thing I wanted to show you was my method for making my camera holder. Let me just get that. All you need is a plastic container that fits over your Petri dish. And then I'm going to cut a hole in the bottom of it. Be careful when you do this, please. Where there's a will, there's a way here. Oh, don't do that. How am I going to cut this? There we go. Cut it like that. And you just want to cut a hole in it. I don't think it has to be this big. And what I'm going to do is, my phone is taking this picture, but I'm going to place my phone on top of this. I'm going to place my ruler millimeter side right next to it, so that when I look down I can see the ruler. I can place my phone on top of this. I've got a nice flat surface and reproducible surface so that I can take my pictures each day. And I guess I'll move them a little tiny bit farther apart so that this can slide over it without having to move it again. And then each day you fill it up. The mung beans will absorb some water, and then some can evaporate as well. You just want to make sure, since we've got that 2/3 line on the side, I'm going to keep mine filled to that level each time. I think that's everything. Let's see. Yep, that's the setup for the Mung Bean Lab.